Everywhere you look these days, people are talking about hustle culture. Work harder, work longer, move faster. But here's the question I keep coming back to. How much hustle is too much hustle? Hello everyone, I go by Rick Cooks, and I don't ask that lightly. I've lived it. I've worked odd jobs, jumped into industries I never thought I'd be in, and chased opportunities across different countries. And today, I want to share that journey with you. The wins, the struggles, and the lessons I've picked up along the way. Because maybe, just maybe, I'll get you thinking about what balance really means. At one point, I worked in retail for just a month. Nothing glamorous, just folding clothes, helping customers, trying to make a little extra cash. It wasn't a dream job, but it taught me discipline. Show up on time, smile even when you're tired, and deal with people respectfully. Later, I had the chance to help an industry professional with consultancy work for three municipalities in my country. That meant looking at local challenges, things like tourism development, infrastructure, and brainstorming ideas that could create value. I wasn't the expert in the room, but I was observing, learning, asking questions, and developing myself. Those jobs might sound random, but they shaped me. They reminded me that hustling doesn't always mean big titles or flashy paychecks. Sometimes it's simply about being in the room, paying attention, and stacking up little lessons that will add up later in my career. So what if I told you that these two jobs, they have nothing to do with my field? Those two jobs were just random jobs that I picked up along the way to get some extra money. And they were very helpful in order for me to get a better view of the bigger picture and how other fields work, but they were never my main focus. Regardless of that, they were still very important because they did teach me a lot of new things and things that became transmittable to my actual field. My real professional path started in tourism and hospitality, and this is where hustling really became a part of my life. My first ever job was in Greece. It was an internship, and I worked at a luxury resort. My job was very simple. I was supposed to take guests around the resort, explain everything that existed in the facilities, make sure that their stay started on the right note, helping them with check-ins, check-outs. And what was I doing? I was a simple buggy driver, driving club cars around the resort, taking people around the resort, and doing the luggage. So basically a bellman or a porter, whatever you want to call it. It was tough work because, as you can imagine, taking luggage outside while it's 30 degrees, it's not the easiest, but it did give me a fresh perspective on the field and on what it is to actually work. I was very lucky to get this internship, but it didn't come for free. Coming from a middle class family, I knew that my parents couldn't just send me somewhere and pay a huge amount for me to get like one of these opportunities. I come from a public school in Portugal, and the cost is as much as any other university in Portugal would cost, so nothing crazy. I wanted to travel, that's why I was in tourism. So, about 6 months before I actually had the opportunity to do the internship, I just started looking, and every day for 2 months I was sending curriculums and trying to just get an opportunity elsewhere. And I was lucky enough for this company to like me, to do an interview with me, and to offer me this position in Greece that I gladly took. It was hard work, but I enjoyed it so much, the experience overall, the work, the people that I've met, and everything, that I knew that I had to do it again. So for the second year in my degree, I chose to try and do the same thing again. But I wasn't trying to go to Greece again. I wanted to go somewhere new, to try something new. So this time I tried to do something related to my degree. My degree is for tour guiding. So even though I worked in a hotel before, that had nothing to do with what I was studying. And so I wanted to try something in my field just to see if I was a good fit. So I kept looking once again, a lot of months before the actual time to do the internship, and I found it. I went to Croatia and I spent the summer working as a tour manager on small cruise ships. They had several categories of ships, but I was mostly working on the party boats, which were small cruises that would take around 30 to 40 people throughout a week, and we would dock in different ports every night. And I was basically just taking the guests around, explaining the places, I had to study them, guiding them from the old towns, talking a little bit about the history of the country, booking places, and organizing. trying to make sure everything was going well. So imagine a 22-year-old on his second job, waking up every morning in a new port, making sure dozens of travelers were having an unforgettable experience. And it was chaotic, it was demanding, but it was also very exciting. I learned how to solve problems on the fly, how to deal with luggage lost, guests getting sick, sudden wear changes. Every day basically tested me. So imagine me at my 22 years old, second job, first one in Greece, second one in Croatia. I fell in love with tourism. It allowed me to travel to places that I never thought I would see. It allowed me to make decent money, and on top of that, I was enjoying life as much as possible as I was doing it. So I sent my mindset to it. I will travel and work for as long as I can. I went back home after that, and I had my third year of my bachelor's to complete. During that year, I took on car rentals as I was still studying. At first, I thought it would be just about handing over keys, but actually, it was sales, customer relations, and handling frustrated clients weren't always easy to deal with. That experience toughened me up. It showed me how important communication and patience are in business. And on top of that, I was in an airport, so it was quite volatile. We would have days that were very calm, and we would have days that were absolutely chaotic. I liked this position, but I knew I wasn't going to do it for long. It gave me a very important skill set, and I improved on communication skills that I didn't even think I would ever learn. But I knew my heart was asking me to go to hotels, and that's exactly what I started looking for. So that's what happened. I started looking for another position, and still back at home in Lisbon, I found another job as a receptionist where I stayed at for 6 months. After that, I finished my degree, and I wanted to continue in the field, but to go somewhere better, a better hotel, and somewhere outside of Portugal, far away with a new culture and new people, and where I could enjoy life and improve on my skill sets and my abilities. And now here I am. Right now, I'm doing a 6 month internship in Dubai at a ultra luxury property as a guest relations executive. Every day I meet high profile guests, handle delicate requests, and witness what service at the very highest level looks like. It's intense, long hours, high expectations at a fast pace, but at the same time, it's exactly where I want to be. This stage of my life feels like it's the peak of my hustle so far. Not because I'm overworked, but because I'm finally hustling in the right direction, the direction of my dreams. But here's the thing I've realized along the way: hustle can only take you so far. Yes, extra jobs and long hours help you gain skills, they help you push forward when others might stop. But hustling can also drain you if you're not careful. I've had days where I was so exhausted that I wasn't really learning or performing, just going through the motions. And that's where hustle becomes dangerous. For you to have an idea, while studying and working, I went for 36 days in a row without ever taking a break. So, whatever was happening, I was either studying or at work, and I never had time off. And this is completely exhausting. Like, it drains you out of your soul, and you start to wonder a lot of times if you're doing the correct thing or not, if you're in the right field, and if you're using your energy the right way, which is something that's important to consider at all times. Because hustle is great when it builds your future. Hustle is dangerous when it becomes your identity. And for me, the real goal isn't to hustle endlessly, it's to grow with purpose. Work hard, yes, but work towards something that matters to me or to yourself. Because if you're just hustling for the sake of it, you can lose sight of who you are and what you want. And that's never good. So let me leave you with this. How much hustle is too much hustle? That's impossible for me to answer. Each person has their own limits, and each person can stretch it to a different point. In my case, I've tested it already, and it's definitely not having my time off and not enjoying my breaks, and feel like even when I'm off, I'm not enjoying life the way I should. So for me, if I can balance the work and still enjoy life, I'm doing good. But if I see that my personal life is too focused on work, I'm going too far. Um, so I just want to ask you, are you hustling too much or just enough? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories, your struggles, and what hustle means to you in life. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just my journey, it's something our whole generation is figuring out together. I go by Rick Cooks, and I hope you have a wonderful day.